This is so awesome. Everyone, let me, there we go. How's it going, everyone? Guess what? Guess what's up? We kicked Restream out the door. We're now using StreamYard. Wow, is this such a better software? Incredibly better software. Sorry, Restream. I build products for a living, and you guys got to step your game up with that 50 mil. You got to put it straight into product. Man, this is so great. You guys can't see, but one of them copied the other. They have a lot of similar features, but this has so many better features. And I can have someone on my team actually like manage stuff. And I can do this cool ticker. Let me do a cool ticker. Hold on, cool ticker. I'm gonna make a ticker right now. Ready for this, guys? For all you content creators out there. I wish I could do an emoji. That'd be cool. There we go. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Peace. Okay, here we go. Watch this, guys. Bam. Peace, Restream. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of fun today. Welcome to another episode of the Comeback Live. Here to answer all of your questions that you have about business, life, all that fun stuff, about the project, give you guys some updates. Let's see if I can read your comments. Connor says, what's up? What's up, Connor? If you guys do have questions. Now, the one thing I don't know yet is how to bring someone on here. I see there's an invite button, so I'm going to try that. If anyone does want to come live, ask a question, just make sure you have good audio and camera. I'm going to drop the link. I just dropped it. It looks like, oh, this is so nice because I can see where it deployed. It deployed on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. This is so great. Okay. So let's see here. If you do want to come live, just let me know. And I will pop you in. Kirsten's asking, Chase, everyone wants to see you, man. Is Chase on here? Chase, if you want to come live, let me know. Okay. Shit. What did I do here? I realized I didn't close all my tabs. So let's do that real quick. Let's get all these tabs closed so the okay. So this week's been pretty crazy. We're making real good progress on growth for the ecom business. Really, really good progress. I'm excited to share with you guys all the things I've learned, what's kind of in the making right now. Oh, it looks like Chase might be jumping on live today. Chase, we got a whole new software. So give me I'm going to let you know, I might not know exactly what I'm doing when you come live, but that link that dropped should work. Okay. So this last week, we're doing a lot of growth initiatives for the e-commerce business. The two biggest ones are, we're getting Facebook ads up, and we are going to be doing influencer marketing. I've learned a lot about influencer marketing, and those initiatives are really being pushed this week. But here's kind of like the approach to influencer marketing, kind of learning these things. So like in terms of like learning this stuff and kind of figuring it out, the first thing I've been doing is I've been reaching out to people. Really, the ecom house is like my only network right now in the ecom world. So like some of them have pointed me in good direction, but also I've just been looking at like YouTube videos, and it looks like when you're going to run successful influencer campaigns, there's a different strategy I guess for what you're trying to achieve. So there's like, okay, do we want a lot of like user generated content? Do we want to actually get sales? Do we want to do brand awareness? So you have to kind of figure those things out. Okay, for us, it's like we want to do all those things. We want to get brand awareness, we want to get user generated content, and we want to drive revenue. So we're going to, for the user generated content, to put all over our social media, we're going to be sending free bags of coffee to people. They can take those bags, they get a free bags of coffee, and then they take pictures and videos so we can use it on our social. The other group of people, brand awareness and driving sales, we're going to give them some form of compensation for sharing with their list. Now, really important. This is actually interesting because one of the people that I talked to in the ecom house didn't realize you could do this. But when you're doing influencer marketing, you don't have to, and I would suggest you don't do this at the start. You don't have to go and be like, hey, everyone, I'll pay you $500 for a post. What we're doing is we're going to test two things out. One of them is going to be what I call just like 10%, which is we give 10% to the influencer, 10% to their list for sharing their code. So that they post it and they're like, hey, everyone, you get 10% off. You use my code. These guys are awesome, blah, blah, blah. And if they do use the code, then we give them 10% of the revenue. The other thing that we're going to test is doing $5 per sale with 10% off to their list. So like every single sale that they bring in, they get $5 and their list gets 10%. Now, let's think about this for a second. If you run an ecom business, for those of you that don't, which I'm assuming a lot of people watching might not have really spent a lot of time learning Facebook ads and doing that type of stuff, what's really important to know is for the price point that we're at least, where we're selling coffee, say like anywhere from like a $12 to like $20 price point. If you're in that space, like acquiring customers is tough and it's very unprofitable if you don't do things in a strategic way. So let's say it costs $10 to acquire a new customer with Facebook ads, right? Let's just say it costs you $10, $15, $20, whatever it costs to acquire a new customer. Well, if you can instead just pay an influencer $5 for acquisition plus the person gets 10% off, and let's say you're selling a $15 item, that becomes $6.50 out of your pocket to acquire new business and get them in your funnel. So as a business, you have a funnel, and that initial acquisition costs $6.50, and hopefully you can at least break even on that. And then there's an LTV attached to that as well. So for us, I'm happy to do anything and everything as long as we're breaking even on any types of influencer campaigns. And it's cool because we get to learn more about our customers. The coolest thing is the more people that know about our product and the more money we can generate in revenue, the more dogs that we can help. So that's super cool. But yeah, this stuff's like really exciting. What's really, 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 really exciting for me is hit up the ecom house. I was like, yo guys, influencer marketing. One of them had a software that he has a membership to that is pretty expensive. It's $500 a month. And he was like, he just got a 50% off code for like, I guess, Black Friday or something. And he was about to cancel the subscription because he hasn't been using it. And he's like, dude, so he's paying $250 a month. He's like, dude, I'll go halves with you. So we're going halves now. So I'm paying $125 a month for something that's $500 a month. And I'm going to blow this thing up. It's made influencer marketing a lot easier because all the data's there. Like when you're doing all this stuff, you have to do research to figure out what percentage of their audience actually engages with their content. So what's their engagement rate? What does their following look like? What niche are they in? And this software kind of like automates all those things for you and makes it significantly easier to manage that, as well as the user generated content once you're scaling an influencer campaign. So all really exciting stuff. Wow, this is super cool. This just came through. I think this is our first message from LinkedIn. So I guess, Deirdre, is LinkedIn like actually working now?
Yeah, it's on your feed.
Like, are people watching on LinkedIn? I get, guys, with Restream, our stuff wasn't working on LinkedIn. Now it's actually working. Unbelievable, Restream. Matt, what is up, man? Matt says, hi, Mike. Thanks for doing that. I recently launched mixmatchcases.com and also into influencer marketing. And what would you advise to start with? Okay, so I'm not sure what you're working on there without going to it, but I don't want to jump on right now because I don't want to mess up the stream. And that's too, Matt, can you give me more substance here in terms of what exactly you're doing? So if you're asking what would I advise to do to start, I'm just going to make some assumptions until I hear back from you. But pretty much what my advice would be is at a high level, figure out what your goals are and figure out what you're willing to pay to acquire customers. Figure out who has influence in the space that you're playing in. It's phone cases. Okay, cool. Deirdre looked it up, Matt. You're selling phone cases. Awesome. Okay, so by the way, I'm looking at your website on her computer and it looks great. I love the site. So Matt, in terms of what you're doing right now, like who is your audience? Whoever has influence in that audience world, talk to them. Phone cases, I would probably try the $5 model and just be like, hey, every phone case that your list buys, $5. I know someone that has done millions of dollars in revenue with just influencer marketing. And that's the model they run. I don't personally know, but I know a company that has scaled to a significant 6-figure monthly recurring revenue just with doing like a percentage model. Yes, it's interchangeable phone cases, super cool. So again, Matt, who is your ideal customer? If they're, I don't know, I'm going to make something up and say they're like 25-year-old women, then you need to get in front of, and you want to go deeper than that, right? But if it's like 25-year-old women that like this, you need to get in front of people that have influence in that world. And then again, try the $5 to the influencer, 10% to the list model, and maybe try like a percentage to influencer, percentage to list. And what's really important, Matt, and everyone else listening, is you need to build out a funnel. The back end is super important. We're using Klaviyo. Okay. So everyone that's listening right now, we started on MailChimp for the first like 2-3 weeks, whatever. Switch to Klaviyo. If you're running an e-com brand, get on Klaviyo or a similar software as quickly as possible. MailChimp is becoming obsolete. You need to have that extra functionality where you can really segment and go deep into the analytics and customer in how you kind of manage the list and build funnels. And we're able to do that with Klaviyo. We're able to send text message marketing campaigns with Klaviyo. There's so much more you can do with a software like Klaviyo. It is more expensive, but I promise, I did a lot of research before we did the switch. You'll more than cover the cost of the product if you do it correctly. So, okay, Matt says 18 to 35-year-old females. Okay, so dig deeper into that. So like what types of people in that 18 to 35, and then figure out who to get in front of. Now, we're talking about Klaviyo. So Matt, where I was getting here is you need to have your funnel set up. It's not just like, okay, let's do influencer marketing. They need to get to the site. You need to have the right campaigns set up, and you need to have some form of like upsells and things that'll get your average cart value higher than it would be just selling a single phone case. Very, 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 very important. If you don't do that and you just have phone cases, you're going to make, I don't know what you're selling for, but a $20 sale. If you have those upsells, every single person that comes through, you can increase $5 in value, or I don't know, $30, $40 in lifetime value if you have the right funnel. We're installing right now something called Zipify, and it's called one-click upsell. And what they have that's super cool is they have what are called pre-purchase upsells and post-purchase upsells. A pre-purchase upsell is very simple. Let's say for us, they add a bag of coffee to their cart. We can do a pre-purchase upsell where when they add the bag of coffee and they go to the cart to check out, we say, hey, do you want to add another bag for this type of discount? That's a pre-purchase upsell. A percentage of people will do that, and it'll increase our average cart value. It'll increase the amount of profit that we bring in. The second thing is a post-purchase upsell. And what it does is after they actually check out, they've already purchased, they click the buy button, enter credit card info, they'll get hit with a post-purchase upsell that says, hey, do you actually want this other product as well at this discount? So it's kind of like a one-time offer thing. Again, this significantly increases your AOV if you do it correctly. Never done this before. So not speaking from like total experience, but I'm like in the process of setting these things up. So I'm sharing with you all this stuff. And again, I understand why it's really important. It makes a lot of logical sense. So these are what you should be looking at, paying attention to if you're building an e-com business. We have a question on Instagram here. What up, Insta? Instagram question is, what is the best way to find a product? So this is asked by Alberto. Alberto, what's up, my man? So Alberto, the best way to find a product is to not start with trying to find a product. The best way, and this is kind of what I did, a little bit, is to find the market that you want to serve. That's where you should really start at a very high level. Market that you want to serve. Again, I say it all the time. We're not a coffee company. We are a company with a mission to help as many dogs as possible. So like Alberto, you got to figure out what you're passionate about, man. That's really what's important. You really got to figure out what are you passionate about. If you love, I don't know, skiing, Alberto, then like start with that. I'm going to sell products to people who love freaking skiing or love snowboarding. You know what, Alberto? You seem like a beekeeper kind of guy. If you love beekeeping, Alberto, start with beekeepers. Okay. So like, and I don't know if that's a big enough niche that I would ever personally target. So maybe I won't use that as an example, but I don't know, skiing, snowboarding. That's a good one. You love that shit. So be the coat company for skiers. We're the coat company for skiers. So now when someone that loves the skis looking for a coat, well, that's the coat company that's just for skiers. It's for no one else. And then all your branding resonates with those people. It's easy to get in front of those people. You know exactly who to get in front of. You can charge more. It's easier to know exactly who you're serving. And then you can figure out the products you sell. What I will say, again, this is talking with a lack of experience, but this is talking from all the research I've done thus far and working with our Facebook ads lady that we hired. The higher priced product, I'd say the better. Like if you could sell, I don't know, like this mic is $70. That's great if you're selling a mic for $70 versus this mouse for $10. Because the problem with selling a mouse for $10 is your cost per acquisition is going to be probably $10. So you're going to lose money. If you're selling a mic for $70, you can afford to spend $20 on Facebook ads to acquire a customer, and you'll probably still be very profitable. So that's one thing to consider with coffee. It's very tough. It's very tough because like when you're building your funnel out, you have to. We looked at like all the different things that we could offer. Because when you're running Facebook ads, it's you have the people you're trying to get in front of. So you have to figure out segmentation. You have to figure out your messaging and your offer. Then you have to figure out your landing page and your funnel. So for us, the offer is really important because you have to look at that and go, okay, what's going to be profitable? What does this actually look like? So if we do like 20% off your first order, that's going to have a certain conversion rate, and that's going to cost a certain amount of money to acquire a new customer. If we do a free bag of coffee, just pay shipping, that's going to have a lower cost to acquire, but it's still going to cost me $10 to acquire a new customer. And then we lose money, at least on the front end, without knowing our numbers on the back end. So you really have to play with all these things and kind of test some of these things and figure these things out. Again, with lower cost products, it's harder to do. So you have to really like bundle when you're doing this type of stuff. Okay, cool. Suzanne says coffee bean life. I love that. We went from bean life to coffee bean life, baby. I don't know why I've never said that term. I don't know why that one's never clicked. I love it. Kirsten loves it too. Kirsten says that she never realized bean life could also be coffee beans. Guys, it was all planned the entire time. Alberto, I hope that answered your question, my man. Let's see. Okay, so Connor asks, how would you partner with a company if you... Sorry, I just lost where I'm at on the page. Here we go. How would you partner with a company if you have not made an LLC or started the business? Couldn't they just take the idea? Connor, the truth is, they can take the idea either way. Like, there's no protecting that until you get trademarked. I personally, like, I have a lot of different opinions when it comes to trademarking. Myself, this is my own opinion, so you take it with a grain of salt. But I think trademarking in the early stages, unless you're building like a physical product, is just too costly, takes too much time. In a lot of cases, not worth it. In a lot of cases, it's very, 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 very worth it though. But having an LLC is not going to protect you from someone stealing your shit. So trademarking can. It's just a very long process. It can be expensive. I don't know enough about like the whole process, though. I just do know that it can be a while and expensive. So I'm going to rephrase this a little bit. How would you partner with a company, though, without an LLC? No big deal. You still just partner with them and you do it as yourself. That's what I did when I started. All this stuff that I was doing it as Mike Black / Mike Scott. And any contracts I signed were as me. It wasn't as a business. Now, there's risk involved there. The great part of an LLC is it protects you legally if anything happens. I was liable if anything happened. Now, I wouldn't recommend selling physical products and not being protected legally. That's a little bit scary, because then you're personally liable for something. So you have to be careful and be smart about what you're selling and kind of balance out risk versus reward. And in that case, I think it's always better to lean on the side of being safe if you're selling a physical product. Also, I don't know if you can sell on like places like Shopify without an LLC. I have no idea how that stuff works. So if you want to lean on the safe side, I'd follow an LLC if you're trying to sell physical products. Now, Connor, what you could do is you could maybe start with doing like either if you don't have the money to structure an LLC, you could either which by the way, it's like anywhere from like $300, $400. You do it all yourself. For the LLC, if you want to be an LLC corporation, it's less if you don't, at least in Texas. There are ways around this though, so you have to think creatively. So what could you do? Maybe you could partner with someone that already has an LLC. They take the risk and liability to the LLC. You don't have to deal with structuring the LLC, all that crap. And maybe you just have the money come through to your personal bank and then you pay the LLC a commission. Maybe that's a creative way. Another creative way is maybe do affiliate marketing. People always ask me affiliate marketing. Well, maybe you find a company, Connor, that is already selling something that you want to sell, and you sell their stuff as an affiliate and get an affiliate commission. And that's how you kind of test the water, just figure things out before you go do your thing. That's another way. So again, think strategically and creatively about if getting money for an LLC is too much, how could you maybe get started without having to take risk or do those things? Okay, so Matt asks, how do you find the influencers? So the best way to do this, honestly, Matt, is like a couple things. One, look up companies in your market that you're competing with. Just take a look at what they're doing with their influencer campaigns. Take a look at what they're doing with their content. Most importantly, take a look at the hashtags that they're using. Any hashtags that you think someone would use in your market, type the hashtag, look, see what people are posting, find the top posts, reach out to those types of people. There's a lot of software out there to take a look at. One of the softwares that I'm looking at is, what is it? Hey something. This is Hey. It's by this really cool entrepreneur that I recently just came across. She's like dominating. This girl is fucking dominating the influencer marketing space, and the e-com space in general. Don't know enough about her other than like the influence content she puts out is great. And like if you look up any influencer content, you'll find her. It's really good stuff. She runs a company called thisishey.com. That's one of the softwares I'm using. Another one, I forget what it's called, but I'm working with someone in the e-com house to share it. So for that reason, I might keep it on the DL. But there's a lot of influencer marketing softwares out there. Go look them up. It'll automate a lot of these things, Matt, if you're trying to do things and not... By the way, Matt, everyone listening, you want to do influencer campaigns, don't message 10 people and be like, well, hopefully that'll work. Message hundreds and thousands of people, because you're not going to have the best conversion rate if you just message 10 people. Like, I would assume like a 1 to 2% assumptions, 1 to 2% conversion rate is good. So I need to send 100 messages to get one person to say yes. Software can definitely make that easier, right? But if you can't afford it, then just doing this. You're doing this. You got to put that grunt work in, baby. So really, again, if you're watching, don't send 10 freaking messages and say influencer marketing doesn't work. But software can help. And to last thing on that, the software that I'm using, you just type in something like dog, and you can see a bunch of dog influencers. You just type in skiing, you see a bunch of skiing influencers. So again, Matt, you can do that on TikTok or Instagram. Go type. What are you doing? You're doing the phone cases. I don't know who your market is. 18 to 35. There's something. Maybe just type hashtag phone cases, something like that. Hashtag fashion, stuff like that. Okay. So Sunny said, I started making TikToks last week for building my personal brand. My second video got 300,000 views, but the rest got less than 1,000. Any advice for making TikTok? Fucking awesome, Sunny. That's super cool. Really pumped for you that you took the step in actually producing content on TikTok. I think that's like the biggest thing I push on people, other than a couple other high level things, is like, get the fuck on TikTok. It is look, Sunny started a TikTok last week, 300,000 views. Here's the thing, Sunny. You did a really good job on that video. That's not easy to get 300,000 views, especially when you're just starting out. Now, what you need to continue doing, Sunny, is pay attention to the content that other people are creating, what works on TikTok, what doesn't work. Also realize like 1,000, if you're consistently also getting like around 1,000 for the other ones, don't worry about it. That's great. That's insane. Sunny, go on Instagram, try to make a post right now on a new Instagram, get 1,000 views. Think about that for a second. Let that set in. Like, not every single video is going to pop. What you need to do though, Sunny, and everyone listening, I've been doing horrible at this with my own TikTok. I just don't have time. You need to post consistently. That is one of the most important things other than creating good content for TikTok. You need to keep posting consistently. If you don't keep posting consistently, TikTok will really harm your account until you start getting consistent. My suggestion is to post as much as possible on TikTok. If you had the time to post 3 times a day, every single day on TikTok, do it. If you have the time to do once a day, every single day on TikTok, do it. I would really shoot for 1 time a day if you can. That is the most ideal, I guess, place to be. The more the merrier, because as you know, Sunny, 1 video can pop. Now, the approach to TikTok, everyone, is like you have like a mix of brand awareness and credibility. Like you're posting, you're getting awareness from what you're doing, and you're also building credibility when you have a lot of following. But under those pillars is with TikTok specifically is like you have what I call like, let's shoot for viral content, and then let's shoot for as much value as possible. Just keep making value content. You're not going to get as many views, but maybe once a week, try to make a viral video, because the viral videos do take more time unless you just get lucky. And the more of the value content you create and not try to necessarily create a viral video, every once in a while, those will pop and they will go viral. Hopefully that makes sense. But TikTok just does that. It's pretty interesting. Chase says, I filed for my trademark. Chase, why don't you say this on camera, man? Stop posting in the comments, bro. I filed for my trademark in December, finally got approved. 2019. Now so that's like over a year later. That's government for you, everyone. Suzanne asked, what Facebook ad guy did you end up with? So I actually ended up with a Facebook ad girl, Facebook ad woman. I was between a Facebook ad guy and a Facebook ad woman. Those were the two people. So descriptive here. Those were the 2 final candidates. One guy was, so the reason I went with the woman over the guy was because there was pros and cons for each of them. The pros of the woman was that we ended up hiring was she had a lot of agency experience working on big accounts. There's a lot I like about that. There's a lot I don't like about that as well, though, because that means that she might not have as much technical experience running like stuff for like small e-com brands. The guy I really like because he did have that smaller experience. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, I really like what this girl, how the conversation went. And we moved forward with her, but it was actually a really hard decision, which is good. It's good to be like, do I go with this person or this person? So Hope that answers your question, Suzanne. Joe says, who on earth use a Facebook guru? Do it yourself. It's damn it. It's easy, damn it. It's easy. It's easy, guys. Okay. So here's what I'll say to you, Joe, and everyone listening. Joe definitely has some points here. I don't know if it's easy. I've never ran Facebook ads. But Joe, this is what I'd rather do. I'd rather, instead of going in Facebook myself, making a ton of mistakes, screwing up, whatever, I'd rather have an expert that knows their stuff to teach me how to do it. So for all you that are watching, that haven't been watching the videos and maybe following along, whatever, for all you guys watching, I hired someone to do the Facebook ads, but I didn't hire them to do the Facebook ads. They're not doing the Facebook ads for me. They are helping me set them up and coaching me. So I am doing the Facebook ads. I'm the one doing all of this. They're just saying, Mike, here's the strategy. Mike, do this, do this, do this. So pretty much I'm paying someone to teach me how to run Facebook ads. The reason for that is I'm going to accelerate my growth. Instead of taking courses, watching YouTube videos, I don't have time for that shit right now. I have 6 months to make $972,000. So this lady is getting on and helping me, and she has a lot more experience, so hopefully she's good. Next question. Shit, we got a lot of questions. So Sean says, what's up? What's up, man? Late to the stream, but wanted to stop by and say hello. What is up? How you doing, Sean? I gotta get back to you, by the way. Okay, Rami says, I really like and love cars. Without any money, in your opinion, how does someone like me start making content without a driver's license and without a car? Rami, you got to find people with cars. That's the easy answer. If you want to make content with cars without being able to drive them, you got to get someone that has cars. So if I was trying to do that, I would think like, where are people with cars? I don't know much about this stuff, guys. I'm not into cars. Never been into cars. But I do know there's like communities of people who are obsessed with cars. So Rami, I don't know, those people that do like, I don't know, it's called like, dude, what's that called when people do that stuff with the cars where they like do burnouts and stuff? Is that called like drag? Do you know what I'm talking about? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Where people like drifting. Look up a drifting club. Let's do it right now. Go on Facebook. I don't know where your local area is. Maybe there's not a drifting club, but go on Facebook, go to groups. It's what I would do. It's the first thing I do. No, I'm playing a drifting club. Oh, drifting club. Yeah, it is random, but let's see. There's stuff for everything. Oh, he loves cars. I see. Yeah, he loves cars. Okay, there's Slide Society Drifting Classified. There's North Texas Drifting Club. By the way, Texas guy right here. If I was in Texas, I'd be in the North. If I was into cars, I'd be in the North Texas Drifting Club. There you go. You go there and you say, hey, can I film content for your drifting club? There you go. Now, you might not have a drifting club, so then think about the next thing, like car shows, dealerships. Hit up dealerships, be like, yo, can I create content for you and like keep some of it for me? That's what I would do. You got to think outside the box here. You don't need access to a car to create good content of cars, especially if you're looking for like luxury cars or whatever it may be. So Rami, that's what I would do. But your follow-up is, or like, how do you make money so you can get your own car? You definitely, if you're super into cars, want to do that, but you definitely don't have to do that, right? Definitely don't have to do that to create content. Just find people that want content. Be like, yo, they make you some awesome content, and then I'm going to use some of it for myself. Sonny, appreciate you, man. Okay, Connor has some advice for you about some local car stuff. Seems like we're on the same page. Okay, so obviously that'd be the best. I did consider that. Issue is I live in a small city, and also COVID in the UK really limits people going out everywhere, sadly. Okay, totally get that, Rami. Let's think outside the box. Again, you got to think creatively. Are there other people that are creating content that you can work with? People that create car content that you could add value to, Rami. What can you do, Rami? Can you edit videos? Hit people up. They're creating car content. Be like, yo, I want some car content. I'll edit your car content if you let me like use some of this shit myself. There you go. You're adding value. You're getting value. That's an idea. Just think about what you have to work with, what you can and can't control. That's what I would do if like I was like, okay, what can I do with like out leaving my house? If that's your situation, people that are creating car content, and then it doesn't have to just be like I'll edit videos for you. By the way, it could be like I'll run your social media accounts. I'll be the guy posting and stuff. But all I want is to be able to use the car content myself as well. Just think outside the box on that. Appreciate you asking though. I hope that's helpful, Rami. Coffee meetups. That's what I gotta do. I never did that. I wonder if there is coffee meetups. I'll bring the coffee. Good call. Someone says, hi, what up? Okay. What up? I'm trying to see if we have any questions on. By the way, guys, we had a lot of people pop on TikTok. By the way, okay, here we go. Okay, this is a good question. Someone had asked on TikTok, they said that they're 15 years old, but I was wondering if you can tell me how to contact big influencers because they normally don't end up responding. That's a good question because we answered it before, which is like, how this is what I'm talking about. How many messages did you send? 100, 200, 1,000? If you haven't done that yet, then you gotta do that first and then kind of figure out from there. Now, you got to have your profile optimized, guys. So this is I'm glad you brought this up because being like a 15-year-old kid, I don't know what type of content you're posting over there on TikTok, but people probably are less likely to respond if you have like weird content, or if you have stuff that's not relevant on your page, or if you don't have anything at all. Think about it. If you're an influencer and you have a following, like if someone reached out to me, first off, we don't really do that type of stuff. But if someone reached out, I would really care about, okay, what is the product they're selling? Who are these people? Do I believe in their mission? How do you find that out? When they send the message, you click their profile, you see what they have on their profile. If it's total bullshit, I'm not going to respond. So consider those things. Oh man, I love StreamYard. I'm just going to say it one more time, and then I promise, guys, I'll stop. This is such a better user experience to be going live on StreamYard versus Restream. It's not even close. I can see everyone that's posting. I can see where you posted it from. I can see how many people are viewing. I can see how much time we've been live. Got all this stuff. This is great. Okay. We got Tom. What's up, Tom? What's up, Mike? Been a freelance designer, mostly on Upwork, for a little over 4 years. This year, I'm looking to take it to the next level. Any advice on how to go about this? Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use a banner. Hold on. Let's see. I might spell it wrong, though. I'm going to try my best. Damn. See if this works. Boo. There we go. Okay, Tom. MikeBlack.co/accelerator. 100% free. If I spelled accelerator wrong, just go on the website. It's 100% free. There's no upsells, none of that stuff. I show you how to go from a freelancer to an agency owner, and how to actually build a business versus, doing the client work. So my advice for you, again, it's totally free. I just want to help. My advice for you, Tom, is you need to stop doing the work. The more time, if you want to build a business, the more time you spend doing the work, the less amount of time, you're actually hurting the business if you want to build a business, because your role needs to be hiring, operations, management, leadership, business development. You got to be bringing in that biz and then hiring people that are much better at you at doing those things. So the very first step for you, Tom, is hire one of two roles. One, the first thing I'd hire, a couple other designers. And you have a huge advantage over someone like me because like I started a development agency. I've never written a line of code. You have an advantage. You're a designer. So hire designers, figure out what your process is for doing that, put the right people in place. That's the first step. The second step, hire a sales guy. Hire someone that's going to keep bringing in business, whether you work on the business or not, as soon as you can. Build up a little cushion, then go hire a salesperson, hire a second salesperson, third, etc. But you got to stop doing the work because if you're doing the work, you're not getting more clients. So first step, put good portfolio up, go get other people to do the design. And then once you start getting more and more clients from your own biz dev, bring in someone to keep doing it. So if you leave, things don't just totally crumble. Okay, I'm going to pull this ticker off. How do I do that? Bam. All right. So Rami asks, what do you think of Clubhouse? I think Clubhouse is freaking awesome. From Dear Jess, what Clubhouse is, I'm glad you asked because most people probably might not know either. So Clubhouse is a platform, social media, a very new social media platform that uses audio. It's an audio platform. So you go and you join rooms and people are talking about different topics. I think Clubhouse is incredible. Incredible. I haven't gotten to play around enough with it. Fun fact, the person that I lived with, not the first person in the RV, the second person I shared a room with, his brother is the 7th employee at Clubhouse. And he's the one that I had heard about a lot of buzz around Clubhouse, but he's the one that invited me to Clubhouse. So there's been a little bit of problems with that because he doesn't know about the project. So if I go on Clubhouse and start doing this, he's going to find out about the project. So I'm like, shit, at what point do I have to tell him? But Clubhouse is incredible. I feel like building like a coaching type of business, if someone wanted to do that, Clubhouse would be really great. It's a great place to like learn, and you can just be wherever and just join a room and start talking to people and meeting people. It's super cool. So anytime a platform is in its infancy, get on it because the earlier you're on a platform, the easier it is to build a following. So like Instagram right now, really fucking hard to build a following organically. TikTok, pretty easy to build a following organically. That will not continue forever. It's going to get harder and harder and harder. Clubhouse, I'd assume, will be the same. So I get on Clubhouse now. I'd learn how to interact on Clubhouse. But I think there's so much potential because it's so new and exciting. Last thing I'll say about Clubhouse, from a product development perspective, their product is incredible. The way that they tackled audio is just, to me, just, you don't realize how hard those things are unless you like work in the product world. And their approach is so freaking cool and so smart. I give them a lot of credit. Who I don't give credit to is Twitter. Scumbag company, just like Facebook, total monopolies that just go and copy other platforms. Twitter is copying Clubhouse. They're launching something called Twitter Spaces, which I think is totally wrong that that's okay to do that. But Twitter will also have a competing product. Again, they just totally ripped it off. It's going to be called Twitter Spaces. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Okay. Sonny says, I just partnered with someone who offered to manage my social media, editing and publishing my videos for TikTok, YouTube, Insta. Any tips for collaborating most effectively with that person? Yes. So Sonny, in terms of like building personal brand, creating content, it's super important that you start at like high level. What types of content do I want to really be putting out? What do those pillars look like in terms of like, here's how I add value. Here's the people that I want to get in front of. Here's how I really want to help people. And here's where I want to carve out where I fall in the world of creating content. So Sonny, let that person know that that's what you're up to. In terms of strategy, you gotta be on the same page. The second thing is like, it's a learning process. If they're going to be writing copy for you, I try to write the copy yourself as much as possible, but they're going to have to learn like how to write copy for you to sound, get your brand and your messaging across. So really work with that person as much as you can. It's a learning curve up front, and then once you guys are both on the same page, it gets a lot easier. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, that's super cool. So he says, fun fact, it's Abdullah, which is someone that went live on here. That's super cool. That makes me super happy. I don't know if you guys met through here. Or you said, okay, so you did meet him through here. I found out about reaching out to him after seeing him on your live stream. That's a win for me. That makes me super happy. I'm very pumped. I hope that works out really well, Sonny and Abdullah. Barely know anything about Clubhouse. Can you expand on why you think it's ideal for coaching businesses? So in Clubhouse, you create your own rooms, and then it like tells everyone like, hey, join this room. So like I create a room right now called like, I don't know, like scaling ads with ecom. And then people just join the room, and I'm just talking about scaling ads with ecom. So if you can just talk about your subject matter for all day.
Oh, it's like Discord?
Well, Deirdre asked, is it like Discord? Discord's like kind of like Slack for gamers, I think.
Well, no, they have like all those tactics. Like
one for servers. Okay, yeah. So it's a little bit like Discord, but you don't join a server. Think about like a social media platform where like there's all these different rooms, and you join the room and someone's talking about a topic. Okay. That's what it is. So, again, it kind of frames you as an expert at something if you're talking about cool shit. So that's why I think it might be good for that type of stuff, Sonny. All right, cool. We got 13 more minutes here. 13 more minutes. If you guys have questions, pop them down below. And we'll get those answered. Let me just check. Let me check up on these platforms. We got some people joining on TikTok. Mostly highs, no questions. Okay, cool. So in terms of the project, again, we're doing a lot of influencer stuff, Facebook campaigns. What we're also working pretty heavily on is, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but we're trying to figure out like, how do we build out a good funnel? What other products do we add to our line? How can we add the most value to our customers? So I'm spending a lot of time doing that up front right now, and also like figuring out how to optimize our site for conversions. There's a lot of things that go into optimizing a site to convert well. So we've been really kind of looking into those things, trying to do as best as we can. And then once those ads turn on, hopefully we're, eventually we'll be up here. Right now we're like down here. But as you go, you make things convert a little better and better with like social proof, with reviews, which is social proof, with the different offers you kind of test and see what converts better. With like how you lay out your landing pages. So I'm like really excited to test those things. Let's see. Okay, so Connor says, I think he's asking, is Canva Pro worth it? And how do you save stuff from Canva to your Google Drive? Okay, so Connor, I actually use the Pro version of Canva, so I can speak to this with our e-commerce company. So I would say it's worth it once you need the service, because you don't necessarily need it depending on what you're doing. It's very affordable. Like we get, I think it's like 12 accounts for like $12, or sorry, 5 accounts for like $12, $13. And it's very, very, very useful. It makes it very easy for our ecom team to go in, collaborate, create like the cards that we need, create the even like logo graphics, t-shirt design, all that stuff, and collaborate on it. So I'm a big fan of Canva. I'm actually really impressed with the product they built. It's really good. Is Pro worth it? Depends if you actually need the Pro features. If you don't need the Pro features, don't pay for it until you do. Jeff says, pros and cons to packing and shipping yourself versus using Amazon for e-com startup. Okay, so this is a great question, Jeff. So we'll start with the pros. For shipping yourself versus using Amazon. So I'm gonna clarify this question a little bit and change it up a little bit. So when you're you can package yourself and ship stuff out, or you can use what's called a 3PL, which is a company that does your fulfillment for you, and they charge you a fee. So pretty much you send all your inventory to your 3PL. Every time you get an order, you're like, hey guys, send this out. They send it out. But you don't actually call them up, go, hey guys, you have software that does that. I think a lot of people use, oh man, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, actually. There's software. The third option is using like Amazon fulfillment. So, which by the way, I have no experience with Amazon fulfillment. So I'm talking with very little experience, but a past knowledge before the project, as well as what I've learned during the project. If you do it in-house yourself, it'll be more costly upfront until you have volume. But the pro is it is by far the most affordable way to get products out the door. The cons of that is you don't know what the hell you're doing. Like, you have no clue. There's so much shit you have to learn. There's equipment you have to buy. Total mess. You have to hire payroll. You take on a lot of like these upfront expenses. But overall, the most affordable thing you can do is in-house your fulfillment once you're doing a certain amount of volume. The second, well, let me take that back to an extent, because a lot of 3PLs specifically, again, companies that you hire to do your fulfillment for you, have massive discounts with shipping companies. So a big one that I know some of my good friends use is called Shipmonk. Shipmonk, the word monk. They use Shipmonk, and I was looking at their pricing, and it's like $2 to get a product out the door, minus some other fees, like if you add like a postcard, all this other stuff. They call it pick, pack, ship. So $2, and then like additional fees for additional items. And if you have like a card, which I'd always recommend doing, that's what it's looking like. So pros of that are it's pretty affordable. Another pro is like they're ready to go. This is what they do. This is what they're really good at. They can get you a lot of heavy discounts when it comes to fulfilling your orders. Then there's Amazon. And Amazon, actually, you know, I have a buddy. I'm not allowed to use him because of the project, but I have a buddy that also runs a 3PL. I'll share that with you guys. You guys should all hit him up. He's a good friend of mine. Let me see what his company's called. He runs a 3PL. So like that's what he does. He does fulfillment. I'll give him a quick shout out. It's called Stacked SCM. Stacked SCM. His name's Nick. Really good friend of mine. I'll give you a shout out, Nick. Anyone that needs help here, it's Stacked SCM. Oh man, I love this. This is so cool. I'm going to add the banner and then show it. There it is. Stacked SCM. Hit up Nick. So it's got all these things. Okay. So Amazon, pros and cons. Amazon is the big player. They have the fastest shipping rates. I'm assuming if you fulfill by Amazon, that means your shit is eligible for Prime, which means shit gets to places in 2 days, 1 day, very quick. You're going to have the quickest shipping rates with Amazon. Amazon is the most expensive fulfillment service. That's the con. By far the most expensive. I don't know how much you pay for it, but it's a lot. Pros, quick. Cons, you pay a premium. 3PL, pros, not as quick. Affordable, not the most affordable. Doing it in-house yourself, the most affordable long-term once you have volume, certain amount of volume, and a lot of headaches and shit. So hope that answers your question and clarified how that all works, Jeff. We've got 5 more minutes here. I just realized we didn't get to go live with Chase. I think I saw Chase in the room too. I didn't click it. I was going off. I didn't. He pieced. Chase, we got to do it next week. We got to get you in here. Cool. 5 minutes. Any last questions here? I don't know which side I would assume it's this side. You know what's cool? I can see like people that interact now on social. So if like people like the like live stream on different channels, I can see it. That's so cool. So you guys should all like it. Now I'm going to start telling you guys, you got to like it, like and share. Like and share. Whoops. I almost left StreamYard. Okay. Like and share, like and share. I don't see these likes going up. I don't know if you can do that on on YouTube. I guess it's like the thumbs up button on YouTube. So what else is going on, Deirdre? Like product stuff?
Not much.
Not much.
Switching to the new. Oh, can you say that?
What?
We're switching to the new roaster next week.
we're switching to our new roaster hopefully next week. So that's exciting. Very excited about that. Our new roaster is incredible. I love the guys there.
We're working on adding like not coffee stuff to the store is what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, Deirdre's working on adding like non-coffee stuff to the store. Think like mugs. There's a couple other things, but we'll share that later once they're done. What up, Doza? What's going on, man? All right. How would you ship something to people that only costs $6 to $10 if not bought in bulk? Okay, so I'm gonna make some assumptions, Connor, because it's a little bit confusing, but I'm assuming you're saying how would you ship something to people if it costs them $6 to $10, so they pay $6 to $10, and they're not buying it in bulk. I would ship it, however you're going to ship it. Like either A, you're drop shipping it, so the drop shipper is shipping it to them, or B, okay, I think you're saying you're not buying in bulk is what I'm assuming. So A, you're either drop shipping, or B, you have the product at your place. So I'd ship it yourself out of your house. That's what I would do. That's how we started, by the way. We shipped everything. Once we switch to the new roaster, they're going to handle our fulfillment end to end, at least until we like have way too much volume for them to handle. In the beginning, Connor, do it yourself unless you're working with a drop shipper. Let's see. Jordan asks, aka Doza, have you thought about doing a subscription box package or rewards program for your coffee business? Yes, we've already implemented it. So in terms of the subscription box package, we do subscription service on our coffee. We give people 15% off for anyone that signs up for a subscription. And we call it our coffee club. Now, what's important, anyone who's watching that runs an e-commerce store and wants to do a subscription, if you're curious about the technical side, we use something called Recharge for our subscription. That's what we use to do our recurring billing stuff. And then our value adds are you get 15% off, you get a lower shipping rate, and then there's a lot of other things that we're doing to make the coffee club as valuable as possible. I think it's really important if businesses can figure out how to do a recurring model. I think that's very, 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 very valuable because then you really build a group of people that are super passionate about what you do. They love your product, and you can figure out how to get in front of your biggest fans. So I'm pretty excited about our coffee club membership. We got one more question here on Instagram, and then we're going to wrap things up from Lee Garci says, hey, Mike, no question, but quick shout out to Deirdre for driving 30 hours from Texas to PA and straight to help set up that apartment and the business. Both make a great team. Shout out Deirdre. Deirdre doesn't get enough credit over here, just doing freaking everything. That's why we call her the flop. Your IT, your live stream, your coffee business owner, your she said a gambling addict because my brother turned her on to
We're in Pennsylvania.
To like this like online blackjack bullshit that my brother plays. Cool stuff, Mrs. Sison. Appreciate that.
Wait.
Deirdre is the flop. Yeah.
Oh, God, I love it.
Cool stuff, everyone. We are at 2 p.m., so we're going to wrap up now. If you guys do have any additional questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Wait. I gotta do this on here. Now that I can do this because StreamYard's so much better than Restream. There we go. Bam. Right here. On Instagram. Wait. Let's do it this way. Instagram. There we go. You guys do have further questions on Instagram at Mike Black. Shoot me a DM. I answer every single DM. Always happy to be helpful if people do have follow-up questions. And that being said, everyone, just enjoy the rest of your week. Go crush. We got the whole week. You got the whole week ahead, baby. Go crush it this week. I will see you in next week's live stream. See you guys.